spewing from the building. Several police vehicles spotted around the perimeter. There's also several police vehicles. A source told Fox 2 there that police were responding to an active shooter situation at Temple, Israel. Police said the schools were in secure mode due to an ongoing incident. Michigan State Police are also aware of the shooting and responded to the scene. And here's what they said, quote, "We are asking for community members to stay away from the area to allow for police response. Troopers are also increasing patrols at other places of worship in the district," and this was posted online. So the Jewish Federation of Detroit ordered all Jewish organizations to go into lockout protocol. Now, the police are seen near the synagogue. They were spotted with high-powered weapons, and there are dozens of police in the area. We are seeing a ton of cars there. A well-known publicist told Fox 2 on air that the temple was a wonderful place. She went on and kind of explained her experience there. She said both of her kids were bar mitzvahed there, and she said, quote, "It is the most wonderful place and is the largest, if not the largest, Reformed temple in the United States. It is where my children went and were confirmed. It is where I was married by. I know all the rabbis. This is just heartbreaking." So this is a developing story. We don't have any details right now, but again, we are following an active shooter situation in West Bloomfield. Sources say there's an active shooter threat located at Temple, Israel. This is the front of the synagogue, and Sky 4 footage before showed that smoke was spewing from the building with several police vehicles spotted around the perimeter. There's also several police vehicles seen in the area, so you can see this is still an active investigation, an active scene. Fox 2 heard that police were responding to an active shooter situation at Temple, Israel. This is located on Walnut Lake Road in Bloomfield. Bloomfield Township Police said that schools were in secure mode due to this ongoing incident, and Michigan State Police are also aware of the shooting and are responding to the scene. We again do not have many details at this time, but police were seen near the synagogue with high-powered weapons, and there are dozens and dozens of police in the area. This is an extremely active scene right now. Active shooter reported. Carolyn Krieger, who's a well-known publicist, told our Fox station in the area that this is such a tight-knit community at the synagogue. They care about each other. They're all connected. And she told them that this is so heartbreaking. She said, quote, "It is the most wonderful place and is the largest, if not the largest, Reformed temple in the United States. It is where my children went and were confirmed. It's where I was married. I know all the rabbis. This is just heartbreaking." So we have crews on the scene right now checking out this active shooter investigation at a Jewish synagogue in the West Bloomfield area. We are tracking an active shooter situation at a Jewish synagogue in West Bloomfield. Police are responding to the scene in West Bloomfield for an active situation in Michigan. Sources say an active shooter threat located in the area of Temple, Israel. This major scene was reported at Temple, Israel, which is located on Walnut Lake Road, again in Michigan. Smoke was seen spewing from the building with several police vehicles spotted around. There were several police vehicles all over the area. You can see dozens flooding the area. A source told Fox 2 that police were responding to an active shooter situation at Temple, Israel, again on Walnut Lake Road. Bloomfield Township Police said schools were in secure mode due to an ongoing incident, but again, we do not have very many details at this time. This is an active shooter investigation that is taking place right now. Michigan State Police are also aware of the shooting and responded to the scene. Quote, "We are asking for community members to stay away from the area to allow for police response. Troopers are also increasing patrols at other places of worship in the district," and they posted that online. Again, that was from Michigan State Police. The Jewish Federation of Detroit also ordered all Jewish organizations to go into lockout protocol due to this active shooter situation. Police near the synagogue were spotted earlier with high-powered weapons, and again, there are dozens of police in the area. This is breaking news we're following. Again, active shooter situation. And we are working to get details to update. We have breaking news coming outside of Detroit. Police are responding to a scene in West Bloomfield, Michigan, for an active shooter situation. Sources say an active shooter threat located in the area of Temple, Israel. Again, this is just outside of Detroit where the major scene was reported, and this was located off Walnut Lake Road. Smoke has been seen spewing from the buildings with several police vehicles spotted around the perimeter of the building. There were also several other vehicles seen outside. A source told Fox 2 that police were responding to this active shooter situation, again, at Temple, Israel, which is a Jewish synagogue, and this is in West Bloomfield, Michigan. Police say the schools were in secure mode due to an ongoing incident, but we do not have very many details at this time. Michigan State Police are also aware of the shooting and responded to the scene. They said, quote, "We are asking for community members to stay away from the area to allow for police response. Troopers are also increasing patrols at other places of worship in the district." They posted that online earlier, and the Jewish Federation of Detroit ordered all Jewish organizations to go into lockout protocol. Again, we do not have very many details at this time. We've seen a ton of police presence around the synagogue, and we have seen officers spotted with high-powered weapons. There's dozens of police and other officers in the area. We are very limited on information at this time. This is a breaking story, an active shooter investigation just outside of Detroit in West Bloomfield. Fox 2 in the area spoke with a woman called Carolyn Krieger. She's a well-known publicist, and she had been going to that temple for a long time. She said it was, quote, "a wonderful place." And here's what she said to them earlier. She said, "It's the most wonderful place and is the largest, if not the largest, Reformed temple in the United States." She said this is just heartbreaking, and we heard their phone call earlier. So again, police are responding to a scene just outside of Detroit. It's an active shooter investigation. Sources say this is at Temple, Israel, which is a Jewish synagogue. and we are trying to get more information as the scene is unfolding. FBI Director Kash Patel just posted to X saying, quote, FBI personnel are on the scene with partners in Michigan and responding to the apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation out of Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan. So this is definitely new information. We just heard that the apparent vehicle rammed into the building and then there was an active shooter situation. And again, this is outside of Detroit, Michigan at West Bloomfield. Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, right outside of Detroit. We are following breaking news of an active shooter at a Jewish synagogue in West Bloomfield, which is right outside of Detroit in Michigan. Police are responding to the scene, and it is a very active situation. There are dozens of police and other officers in the area, and sources told Fox 2 in the area that there's an active shooter threat located at Temple Israel, which is a Jewish synagogue. Helicopters flew over earlier, and smoke was seen spewing from the building with several police vehicles spotted around the building. Police were responding to an active shooter situation at Temple Israel, which is located on Walnut Lake Road in Bloomfield Township, again outside of Detroit, Michigan. Schools were in secure mode due to an ongoing incident, police told reporters, and Michigan State Police are also aware of the shooting and responded to the scene. And the Jewish Federation of Detroit ordered all Jewish organizations to go into lockout protocol. FBI Director Kash Patel responded, saying, quote, FBI personnel are on the scene with partners in Michigan and responding to the apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation out of Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan. He just recently posted this a couple minutes ago, and there are no details at this time about the shooter or any victim, but we are updating as soon as possible. This is a breaking story, active shooter situation outside of Detroit. Officers in other cities and states are stepping up their patrols outside of places of worship because of this. And again, this is an active situation. We are just getting word that other cities and states are stepping up their patrols outside of other synagogues and places of worship. Yeah, so I'm wondering if that smoke has to do. He said that there was an apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation outside the temple. So, not sure where the smoke is coming from, but it is definitely something to look for. Is looking through this footage that we are watching live happening outside of Detroit. Again, he said Detroit's FBI field office is responding to the scene, and the Jewish Federation of Detroit ordered all Jewish organizations to go into lockout protocol. We haven't heard much locally, but we are hearing things that cities and states are stepping up their patrols outside of places of worship in case of anything like this happening. So we do not have very many details at this time. We have nothing about the shooter or the victims, but we are told that police are going to give an update soon, and police near the synagogue were spotted with high-powered weapons. So we do not know what's going on yet. We know there's dozens of police in the area, and this is right outside a Jewish synagogue that was targeted by an active shooter, allegedly. Police are responding to the scene. This is in West Bloomfield, outside of Detroit, and it is an active situation. There is an active shooter threat outside this. Our Detroit affiliate Fox 2 had a counterterrorism expert on their show, and they said, quote, I would suggest that the suspect is in this situation is being treated as a terror act of terrorism, especially if the FBI are immediately involved. Eric O'Neill, this counterterrorism expert, said that the vehicle ran into the building and it provides a point of entry for the suspect. But he did say that the fact that the FBI was on the plea is a good thing, and it means that they're giving all the support to local law enforcement. And he said that all of them are handling this as quickly and as safely as possible. We are working to get details, but Temple Israel did post their events online, and at 1:30 there would have been a movement on the Mind event, and there was a fresh food pantry that was scheduled as well today. There was also an adult health and fitness class that would have been coming up today, diagnosing Alzheimer's disease, aging is inevitable event, and there were a lot of events on the schedule today before this active shooter threat investigation. We are following breaking news in the Detroit area at a Jewish synagogue. Police responded to the reports of an active shooter. AP News is reporting that security at the synagogue near Detroit engaged in gunfire with at least one person today. The sheriff told reporters there that a truck crashed into the Temple Israel synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan. So this is again in the Detroit area. The Oakland County Sheriff said that no one is in custody yet, but smoke could be seen billowing from the synagogue's roof. You could see it in our helicopter footage from earlier, that there are dozens of police vehicles surrounding the building. And FBI Director Kash Patel posted to X about this, saying that agents are on the scene of an apparent, quote, vehicle ramming and active shooter situation at the synagogue. So we are working to get details right now, but that's all we have right now. They also said that authorities are clearing the building, and about a dozen parents sprinted to get their children from an early childhood learning center that was inside the building. They were able to do this once they got approval from police. And again, this is outside of Detroit in the West Bloomfield area. The entire West Bloomfield school district went on lockdown, according to AP News. And the governor posted saying, "This is heartbreaking. Michigan's Jewish community should be able to live and practice their faith in peace." The Jewish Federation of Detroit also advised all Jewish organizations at the beginning of this active threat situation, saying and telling them to go into a lockdown protocol. So nobody in or out of any buildings, any Jewish organization buildings in the Detroit area. Yeah, the Oak.
This wasn't seen earlier with running towards the building, but at this time, things appear to have quieted down.
Yeah, it seems like it is definitely less of an active situation now. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office actually said that authorities are clearing the building, and they even let about a dozen parents inside to go get their children. I guess there was an early childhood learning center inside the building. So, after getting approval from police, they were actually able to go in there and get their kids. This is in West Bloomfield, so the entire school district did go on lockdown because of this scenario. But the Temple Israel calls itself the nation's largest Reform synagogue with 12,000 members, according to its website. So it has an early childhood education center, educational programs. We know that there were a ton of events on the list scheduled today before this active situation. And we know, according to the FBI director, Kash Patel, he posted to X saying that a vehicle did ram into the building. Again, we're not sure what the smoke was from, but there was a vehicle that rammed into the building and an active shooter situation. Earlier, they said there was no one in custody, but the scene does look a little more chill now. Parents were able to go inside and get their kids from the early childhood learning center. So,
And you can see that right there. It does look like there's a parent taking a child. Now, we don't know how close this shot is to where that vehicle ran, all that smoke was, but to your point, Maddie, there they are, parents
yeah.
walking their kids out, continuing to await more information from local law enforcement. But
Yeah.
right now, things do appear to be quieting down a bit.
Yeah, and again on that, there are apparently over 12,000 members according to their website. So the Temple Israel calls itself the nation's largest Reform synagogue. So we don't know where the childhood learning center was in the building or how close they were to the situation or where the vehicle ramming was. We just did see the smoke billowing from the roof of the building. And again, security at the synagogue near Detroit engaged in gunfire with at least one person on Thursday. FBI Director Kash Patel reports that a truck crashed into the Temple Israel Synagogue, and this is in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, in the Detroit area. Current updates right now say that Oakland County Sheriff says that there is no one in custody. But again, smoke is still seen billowing from the synagogue's roof. There's dozens of police officers surrounding the building, but it definitely is a little bit more chill now that parents were able to go inside and get their kids out. A minute ago, we got another update. Authorities are reporting that there are no injuries, and all said that security engaged in gunfire. So that is true, but then they said the suspect went at large after that. The backstory here, a vehicle crashed into the Temple building on Walnut Lake Road in the Detroit area in West Bloomfield Township. This is in Michigan, and this happened late Thursday morning. All kids and teachers have been evacuated and accounted for, officials told Fox 2, our affiliate in Detroit. They also said that the vehicle, this is new information, the vehicle caught on fire, which is why there was smoke from the building, and fire trucks are at the scene. So we see a ton of officials there reporting to the scene for this active shooter threat investigation, and officials just told our Fox affiliate in Detroit that the vehicle caught on fire. So that's why this helicopter footage earlier that we saw smoke coming from the building, and there were a ton of fire trucks outside of the building. Michigan State Police are also aware of the shooting. They also responded to the scene, and community members were asked to stay away from this area for obvious reasons. If you look at this shot right now, there's no way you're getting through that. There are a ton of vehicles around, a ton of officers. The FBI office of Detroit is reporting. There's Michigan State Police. And the Jewish Federation of Detroit ordered all Jewish organizations to go into lockout protocol. And I know that this was something that was talked about in the whole country of worship centers to be on high alert. Again, we don't have any details about the shooter. We do know that there are no victims at this time and everyone is accounted for, and police are said to give an update soon. We're not sure when that is going to be, but outside of the situation, when it was breaking, when we first pulled up the shots, there were police that were spotted with high-powered weapons as they responded to this. So we know that they engaged with gunfire with the suspect. We don't know if the suspect's at large.
I do have an update there. A source with the Associated Press says the suspect in the attack on the Michigan synagogue is dead. So that is from an Associated Press source. The suspect in this attack on Temple, Israel, outside of Detroit, is dead. Presence in the area. Earlier, we saw the smoke coming out of the building. FBI Director Patel said ramming and active shooting. Suspect in this attack is dead.
So law enforcement agencies from across the Metroplex in Detroit are responding to the reports, and officials gave an update about the suspected gunman in the shooting, saying that he did die. Officials said Thursday that the security engaged in gunfire and the suspect was at large after the attack, and no other deaths are reported, no other details about the suspect. We don't know who the suspect is. But we do know that a suspect rammed an apparent vehicle into the building, and there was an active shooter situation out of Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, just outside Detroit.
I have seen
We saw the
several
FBI
parents.
go
I
up.
have seen several parents pick up kids.
Yep.
And we saw stretchers go in.
Okay, got it. Stretchers go in, parents pick up kids, talk to a man, wife inside.
Tell you what, can you stand like over there?
If you are just joining our feed, we are watching breaking news in the Detroit area.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm Hannah Mackel.
AP
Testing,
is
1, 2, 3.
reporting that the suspect in the Michigan synagogue attack is dead. So police have been responding to the scene in West Bloomfield for an active shooter threat situation. Sources say the active shooter has died. The major scene was initially reported at Temple Israel, which is located on Walnut Lake Road. If you look at that top shot on your screen, there are a ton of officials reporting.
They'll give me a couple.
We know Michigan State Police are there. We know the Detroit FBI office is there. And we just got reports that there is actually no injuries reported in this active shooter investigation.
There you go.
Earlier, smoke was seen spewing from the building, and we now learned that that is because the suspect allegedly rammed a vehicle into the building. Again, as of a few minutes ago, authorities told our Fox affiliate, Fox 2, in the Detroit area that there are no injuries and all people have been accounted for. The Associated Press also said that security engaged in
I haven't heard
gunfire with
anything
the
from them.
suspect,
All I hear
and
is
then
the
they
feed.
were at large, but we have heard that the suspect died.
Oh, yep, I hear you now.
So here's the backstory of what we know, what we've heard. A vehicle crashed into the Temple Israel building off Walnut Lake Road in the West Bloomfield Township, Michigan area. This was late Thursday morning, and this synagogue, this Jewish synagogue that the incident happened at, actually has an early childhood learning center. So all kids and teachers have been evacuated and are accounted for. Officials told Fox 2 this.
I have voices in my head. They're screaming.
At the bottom of your screen, we have a reporter there getting ready for a live shot talking about the situation. This is a live look at the active scene at the Temple Israel building in the Detroit area. A suspect allegedly rammed a vehicle into the building, and the vehicle caught fire, which is why there was smoke coming from the building, and a lot of fire trucks at the scene. You can see a school bus, you can see a ton of traffic outside the building right now, as there are a ton of different officials reporting to the scene. We know that the FBI was involved. We know that Michigan State Police were involved. Michigan State Police actually told our Fox affiliate that they are aware of the shooting and responded to the scene too. And they said, quote, "We are asking for community members to stay away from the area to allow for a police response." So troopers are also increasing their patrols at places of worship that are around this area. And the Jewish Federation of Detroit ordered all Jewish organizations to go into lockout protocol all over the area.
We're on IFB2.
We also do know that there was information reported earlier that cities and states, not just in Michigan, are stepping up patrols outside places of worship.
Assault weapons go in and out of the building. We've seen several parents pick up kids. We've also seen adults picking up other adults. Because the place is huge. They got all sorts of day programs, stuff like that.
Hi, sorry, what was that?
From that,
Yep.
my ATF friend just texted me.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have.
How many?
Okay, so.
If you are just now listening in, we are following breaking news in West Bloomfield, Michigan. This is in the Detroit area, and a suspect attacked a synagogue in Michigan. The suspect is allegedly dead, according to AP News. The person who told AP News this confirmed the death but did not give any details surrounding this. And so here's what we know. There's security all over the synagogue near Detroit. They allegedly engaged in gunfire with at least one person on Thursday. This was late Thursday morning. AP News reported that a truck crashed into the synagogue, and earlier we saw smoke billowing from the building, so we now know that the vehicle caught fire once they crashed into the Temple Israel synagogue. This is a Jewish synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan. And
we can't get
I couldn't either. Yeah, I couldn't either.
Yes.
I kept getting around.
I tried to get the other side.
we have seen footage from the scene showing dozens of police vehicles. We know that the FBI is reporting to the scene. FBI Director Kash Patel said that agents are on the scene, and again, it was an apparent vehicle ramming, active shooter situation at the synagogue.
How many people?
Huh?
How many people?
So we have watched on these live feeds that the Oakland County Sheriff's Office said that authorities are clearing the building. We've seen this all over the scene. You can see school bus there in the shot, and about a dozen parents were able to actually sprint inside to get their children from an early childhood learning center that was inside the building. They got approval from police. They were able to go get their kids out safely. There are no injuries reported, and the West Bloomfield School District also went on lockdown.
So they're saying a gunman is
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer issued a statement saying that she was tracking these developments and said, quote, "This is heartbreaking. The Michigan Jewish community should be able to live and practice their faith in peace." So we did a little bit of research on Temple Israel. There were a ton of events scheduled today. There was a food pantry scheduled today, and according to their website, they call themselves the nation's largest Reform synagogue. There was over 12,000 members according to the website, and they have early childhood education centers and other educational programs for families and adults. Now, we do know no one was injured, and we saw earlier that parents were able to get their children out safely.
I'm literally called into the show with Dave right now. So you want me to leave here? It just, okay. Where? No, it's not that. I just, it took me forever to get here, so I'm just surprised that you're making me move again. Like,
Hey, yes again.
right, I just came. There's no way he's over there. No, what I'm saying is where we are now is where they've moved all media. Everyone's where we are right now. It's like a line of cars. They're literally clearing out that area. I was by Temple this week.
If you are just now listening in, we are following breaking news of an active shooter threat investigation. The suspect in the attack of a synagogue in Michigan is dead. Sources told AP News that
Do we
earlier.
need to duck?
I'm Maddie. I am a senior digital content
Oh my
creator here at Fox
goodness.
4. I run our social media accounts, and I've been closely following the story. And here is all that we know. So the person is confirmed dead, but there are no surrounding details at this time.
Because I got kicked out of that area.
Officials at the scene said that no one else was injured. We also know that security at the synagogue near Detroit engaged in gunfire with at least one person on Thursday. A sheriff told reporters that. We have gotten a lot of information from our affiliate, Fox 2, that's in the Detroit area. We do know that a truck crashed into the Temple Israel Synagogue. This is in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan. Oakland County sheriffs say that smoke was seen billowing from the synagogue. We've been following the story all morning. There are dozens of officials outside
You cut
reporting
out
to
there,
the scene.
but-
FBI Director Cash Patel
You cut out
said
there, but I believe you were
agents
going
are
to say the
on
Associated
scene,
Press says that the
FBI
shooter's
agents
dead.
specifically, and an apparent truck rammed into the building. There was then an active shooter situation where the suspect did die.
Can you just go talk with the police that are blocking the entrance right here?
We've watched on our feed that the Oakland County Sheriff's Office was clearing the building. We know that about a dozen parents were actually let inside the building to get their kids from an early childhood learning center. Now, we do know that there are a lot of educational things in this building. According to the Temple's website, there are about 12,000 people that go there. And police gave families of the children approval to go inside and get their kids, while the rest of West Bloomfield School District was locked down. So So we're getting a ton of responses from this. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer said that this is heartbreaking. She said that Michigan's Jewish community should be able to live and practice their faith in peace. Again, Temple Israel calls itself the nation's largest Reform synagogue with 12,000 members. This is all according to its website. It also has early childhood education centers, offers educational programs for families and adults. And we do know that there were a lot of events lined up today, including a food bank event that was scheduled around this time. If you are new here, we are following breaking news outside a temple. This is in the Detroit area in West Bloomfield. Law enforcement agencies from across Detroit are responding to reports of an active shooter. This was at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. Officials actually just gave an update, and they said that security engaged in gunfire and the suspect was at large, but we did now learn that the suspect has died after the attack in the Michigan synagogue. Fox News reported that the suspect was believed to be dead, and this was told to reporters by a senior law enforcement source at the scene. Officials also did confirm that the suspect in the attack was dead and no other injuries were reported, but no other details about the suspect were reported either. So here's the backstory. On Thursday, police responded to a scene in West Bloomfield for an active situation. This was an active shooting threat situation when we first started the stream. We were learning a ton of details. We did not know what was going on, and sources said there was an active shooter threat. Again, we knew that this was in the area of Temple Israel. This is a very large campus. The synagogue reports on their website that they have about 12,000 people that go there. So when we first joined on, we said that smoke was seen spewing from the building. We could see that shot of smoke coming from the building, and there were a ton of police vehicles and official vehicles surrounding the area. We saw dozens, and we now know that the FBI also responded to the scene. So FBI Director Kash Patel went on social media, he took to X, and he said that FBI personnel are on the scene with Partners in Michigan and responding. So this was an apparent truck that rammed into the building, and then the active shooter situation happened. The Jewish Federation of Detroit ordered all Jewish organizations to go into lockout protocol, and this wasn't something that we saw just in the Detroit area. We saw this all over the country as worship centers shut down and were on lockdown in case something like this happened where they live. In the beginning, when we first saw initial shots of the scene, We saw dozens of police in the area. We also saw that police
Since I've been
near the
standing here, have you
synagogue
seen
were
them
seen
bring
with
anybody out on the
high-powered weapons, and we now know that the suspect died,
No, I got it.
and the
We saw
suspect did
stretchers go
engage in
in. I just wanted to
gunfire
know if they've
Nothing's
come
with
out yet.
officers at the scene.
I'll keep an eye out on stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Michigan's Governor
A bunch of
Gretchen
feds left.
Whitmer,
But
she did
so far,
issue a
no
statement as the developments are tracking, and she said this is heartbreaking. Michigan's Jewish community should be able to live and practice their faith in peace. So we are just now getting details. We do know that the suspect in the Michigan synagogue attack is dead. We do know that authorities cleared the building. We saw shots of kids walking out. We do know that everyone is safe. And parents were actually able to go inside the building and get their children out from the building after police gave them approval, because we do know that there are early education centers inside. Now, on the website, Temple Israel says that they are the nation's largest Reform synagogue, and there are 12,000 members. So they have all sorts of things. They had a ton of events lined up today. They had a food pantry. They had other things scheduled. But
Okay, thanks.
again, this is an active scene. No one is allowed in the area. So we don't know what's going on with those things, but we do know that there is an early childhood education center and other educational programs for families and adults. We don't know how many kids were there. We don't know how many adults were able to go inside. We know there was at least a dozen that were able to go inside and get their kids, but we do know now from the shots earlier that smoke coming from outside the building was the vehicle that rammed into the building. And a little bit more about the synagogue. The website says, quote, they are passionate about helping Jewish communities across the globe, and its mission is to create a community building through the lens of Reform Judaism.
Yes, we're at the JCC close to Crestwood and Drake Road. This is where families are being told to reunite with their loved ones. We have watched some parents go up to the building. Farmington Hills Police has secured the entrance. We did see some federal law enforcement officers leave the area. I spoke to one man. He told me that his wife is inside the J and he hasn't heard from her. He's waiting to find out when they'll be reunited. As you can see, up close to the building, Birmingham Fire has entered the building. We also saw some stretchers enter the building, but nothing has come out at this time. Helicopters above, you can probably hear, are also coming and circling the area. As we've been out here for the last hour, we've seen a wide variety of police officers on scene, from the State Patrol, Farmington Hills Police, and West Bloomfield Hill Police as well. Reporting live outside of the JCC, I'm Hannah McElry.
you to maybe pivot to, is there anybody else involved, and the investigative side of what's happened.
So you confirmed that it was security that shot and killed the suspect here?
Well, we can't say what killed him at this point, but security did engage the suspect with gunfire.
Did the suspect have a weapon?
We can't get into a lot of that stuff, but he breached the building, drove down the hall, and he was engaged by security.
So do we know, did he ever fire shots, the suspect?
Preliminarily, we have some information, but nothing that we confirm, so we're not going to go into it.
Where did he breach the building from?
He drove in through doors with a vehicle.
There was only one person in that vehicle?
That's what it appears at this point.
What do we know about this fire?
Something ignited in the vehicle. That's a work in progress. We're, through an abundance of caution, clearing the vehicle for IEDs or any explosives. We've got a significant number of bomb dogs on site, bomb techs on site, and all of that's going to be done to check the boxes. We have deployed resources all across the county, just in case, out of an abundance of caution, that there may be a secondary site, but we don't have any information at this time to believe that. So we want people to take a breath. No one was hurt. We're on top of it. The chief and his team got here fast. Everything that was supposed to happen happened. Security did their job, and then the responders did theirs.
Sheriff, what did the call come out as?
I believe it came out as an active shooter.
Yeah.
Where and when did you actually neutralize the front? Where was he?
The vehicle's in the hallway of the building, inside the building.
The front hallway.
Again, I can't tell you what he died of until we get a little further. We haven't actually gone into the car. It's still being cleared.
So we do know that the security guard shot this.
They shot at
them, but it's unclear if he was killed.
Because, you know, in situations like this, you never know. If somebody's trapped, sometimes they kill themselves. So the suspect was engaged. Is the clearest sentence I can give you.
What is the condition of the security?
From information I got, he should be okay. He was knocked unconscious.
So the different security officers who fired the shot?
There were multiple security officers on scene, and the one that was hurt was pulled from that area by his team.
How much did the car registered from?
We're not going to get into the specifics on the car at this point.
You say what type of car it is, sir? A truck or an SUV?
It was a truck.
Sheriff, is this a West Bloomfield scene, a sheriff's scene? I know everybody's here.
Everybody's here, more than likely, based on, you know, a couple early pieces of information. The FBI may take the lead. That's yet to be formally determined.
Were there explosives in his vehicle?
That's yet to be cleared.
How much damage to the building from the fire?
That I can't even tell you. You couldn't even see that the hall was completely. They had to send people in with gas masks to clear that area.
How are the kids doing?
All the way in the building.
Do we know how fast he's going?
It's hard to say how fast. I mean, he was traveling with purpose down the hall from my.
Chief, this could have been a far worse situation considering the severity of it, him getting into the building, whatever may have been in the vehicle. Talk about just the response, those security guards, and how this could be far worse than what we're reporting and seeing right now.
No, absolutely. In fact, what I would tell you is that I am deeply proud of the response, not only from the security that was on site, but also of all the police officers and the firefighters that are here right now. We train on active shooter events a lot. The county has a consortium, OCTAC, that trains the entire county on active shooter tactics, and that's something that we believe in and that we support, and I think that training certainly helped to mitigate what happened here today.
And the chief has been in contact with all of the facilities for weeks, and not just on the last couple of weeks, but constantly forever. But in the last couple of weeks, even a lot more integrated communication. You know, I mean, there are always, and all of the agencies in Oak County are partnering with their religious institutions and schools. And anytime there's a concern, there's communication, there's extra patrol, extra attention, extra warnings. That had all happened for the weeks leading up to this. And the team inside that building was very queued up. And I know the chief had communicated directly with their head of security weeks ago. So,
were there any directed threats at this specific time?
there was no specific chatter about any institution or facility in Oakland County, but they were all on alert.
Sheriff, we see vehicles leaving. Is it all clear of an issue? Is the shelter in place still in
It's still in place until we clear vehicles and make sure there's no IEDs or other secondary potential. But we believe there's nothing active at the moment.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff. Yeah. So it's likely that there could be another press conference here, maybe within the next 2 hours.
Okay.
Like
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And what's your message to folks, that people that want to come out and look?
There's no reason to come out and look. They're just be getting in the way and adding to more traffic. Please stay away. You can watch the news and see what's going on. We're going to try to keep updating people as information becomes available. But coming down here and just blocking the road with another car because, God forbid, something else happens or somebody gets hurt, we need to be able to move emergency vehicles in and out.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Maybe we could just walk down there, go a little bit closer around the scene. You're staying on the side of another police line or farther down.
No, we're shutting in here because we haven't cleared.
No, I mean once it's clear and safe.
Oh, once it's cleared, yeah.
Yeah, just.
What time? Yeah. I'd have to go back and look at my notes.
I heard that you were all called out about 12:30. Is that accurate?
Yeah, around 12:30. I don't have the specific minute or time. Yeah.
Was it synagogue security that was involved with this?
Yes. Temple Israel.
Can you clarify if the man made it out of the car? Who you said deceased in the vehicle?
It looks like he's still in the vehicle, but we haven't, gone directly up to it until it gets cleared by bomb dogs and techs.
He is deceased.
There's a body in the vehicle.
Okay.
What happened as far as a step-by-step as best you can share?
Well, at this point, we're not sharing those type of details. We're going to protect the integrity of the investigation. So, yeah.
Chief, do you know about how many people were in the building? Like, I know
all of those details again we're holding right now as we're trying to piece everything together. But again, within 2 hours, we will be back and we'll be able to discuss more things. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
D-A-L-E.
Here you go. This got to start, so I apologize.
Yeah.
Transpired as best you can share at this point.
I mean, there's nothing more than what we just talked about. The vehicle breached the building. Security engaged that vehicle, the person driving that vehicle. Nobody was hurt. Nobody in the building other than the suspect in the vehicle, and one of the security personnel was hit when the car knocked him down.
Are you able to elaborate in regard to, did the person exit the vehicle before being neutralized, shots fired? Can you give any clarity?
Now, he's still in the vehicle.
So he's deceased in the vehicle, he never got out of the vehicle?
Correct.
Can you say how far so individual age or where from? Can you give me
until we know?
This one's yours, I believe. Yes. You want me to grab? Hey, we got even more.
If you were just now joining, we do know that an armed man rammed a vehicle into a Michigan synagogue and was fatally shot by security. This is confirmed by AP News. If you're new here, I'm Maddie Marks. I'm a senior digital content creator, and I run our social media site, so I've been tracking the story. Sitting in here, we do know that, again, an armed man rammed a vehicle into a Michigan synagogue. This is in the Detroit area in West Bloomfield, Michigan. The man was armed with a rifle. We just now learned in an official press conference with security, and this was in a Detroit suburb. They were fatally shot by security, and this is according to officials at the press conference. Now, investigators are still working to identify the suspect. We do not have very much information surrounding the suspect at this time, but we did just learn that in the press conference, they said that the suspect is still in the vehicle right now. So we do know that they did not exit the vehicle and they were shot inside the vehicle. Again, we do not know the possible motive at this time, and there's a lot we are learning as the investigation continues, but we do know that no other people were injured in this. And we do know that the Oakland County Sheriff Department confirmed earlier that the synagogue engaged in gunfire, so the security guard engaged in gunfire with the suspect. No one was in custody, but we did learn that the suspect died at the scene. They never got out of their vehicle. They remained in the vehicle and are still there at this time, according to officials. So we do know that it was a truck that crashed inside the synagogue. We saw earlier in helicopter footage that smoke was seen billowing from the roof, and we now learned that the vehicle caught fire. And there were dozens of officials, dozens of police surrounding the area. FBI Director Kash Patel posted to X during the time and said that the vehicle rammed. There was an active shooter situation at the synagogue, and we again now learned that the suspect did die in the active shooter situation. This synagogue is huge, so there's actually 12,000 people that attend the synagogue according to their website, and the Oakland County Sheriff's Office said that they cleared the building. We watched this all happen on our live feeds if you've been keeping up with this. About a dozen parents actually sprinted to get their children from the Early Childhood Education Center, so they were able to go inside after police gave them approval and were able to go and get their kids. And we do know that there are a few different learning things at this. So we do know that there's early education center, there's early education programs, and this goes for all ages, families, and adults. So the Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer issued a statement after this, before we even knew any information, and said that Michigan's Jewish community should be able to live and practice their faith in peace. And again, there was no motive at this time as to why this happened, but we do know that the suspect rammed a truck into the synagogue and apparently went down the hallway. We just learned that from officials a few minutes ago. If you listened in on the press conference, that they rammed and drove down the hallway before security met them. The security guard allegedly shot, or it's unclear at this time, but shot at the suspect, and the suspect never exited the vehicle. The suspect actually died inside the vehicle, and police said that the suspect is still in the vehicle at this time. So a little bit more about the synagogue. So Temple Israel calls itself the nation's largest Reform synagogue. There are 12,000 members according to their website. And I looked earlier, there were a ton of events scheduled today. There was a food pantry, there was yoga, there were all sorts of things that were scheduled throughout the day that was open to the public to see that those events were scheduled. Although there is no motive, and we do not know how many people were inside, but we do know that there are no injuries reported at this time. So again, early education centers, there were a bunch of kids inside. We know dozens of parents were let inside to take their kids out. And the website says that they are, quote, passionate about helping Jewish communities across the globe. It's their mission to create a community building through the lens of Reform Judaism. So a ton of different places were on lockdown during this time. We do know that the Jewish Federation of Detroit advised all organizations in the area to go into a lockout protocol. And so that means nobody in or out of the building. We haven't heard of any reports of that in Dallas, but we do know surrounding states and cities and worship centers across America also had the same protocol where no one in or out, and they were just taking extra precaution because there was no motive. We still don't know the motive for this shooting, but we are actively learning, actively listening to officials. And if you look right there, you can see the active scene right now. A ton of those vehicles have cleared out within the past, I would say, hour I've been sitting in here, and you can see they're focusing the shot, but there is still dozens of vehicles that are reporting to this, but a lot have cleared out. We know that the FBI team of Detroit was involved. We do know Michigan State Police were involved, and we are just learning a lot more right now. So let me pull up a little bit more information right now. I know we're learning. Everything's coming in by the minute, so this is an active situation that we've been monitoring the past hour. We have learned so much already, and I'll just go over real quick what we know again. An active shooter attack at Temple, Israel. The suspect ran their vehicle into the synagogue and drove down a hall, officials just said. This all happened Thursday afternoon, late Thursday morning. Sources did say that all teachers and children are accounted for and safe, and there are no reported injuries, which is great news. We do know that the preschool programs are commonly held there, but we don't know whether those were the programs that were intact while this happened. We do know that parents were able to get let in by police, go inside, get their kids out safely, and the gunman was reportedly armed with a rifle and then was fatally shot by security, according to sources. And if you were just listening to our feed a few minutes ago, you could see that the officials that Fox 2, our affiliate, talked to, they did say that the suspect ran the vehicle through the halls, was driving through the halls, engaged gunfire with security, and then the suspect died. We, again, don't know how, but we do know that the suspect remains in the vehicle. So let me get this shot back up. We have a few things changing real quick. So let's see. Okay, let me go fix this real quick. Okay, if you are just now joining us, we are following breaking news in the Detroit area. I'm Maddie Marks. I'm a senior digital content creator here at Fox 4. I run our social media accounts, and I've been tracking this story for the past hour, sitting in our digital studio, and we have a ton of new updates. We just heard from a few different officials at the scene, and here's everything we know. So we know an active shooter came and attacked Temple, Israel. This is in the Detroit area, in the West Bloomfield area. And again, this is in Michigan. The suspect allegedly rammed a vehicle into the synagogue. This happened late Thursday morning, early Thursday afternoon. Sources told Fox 2, our Fox affiliate, said that the teachers and children are all accounted for and safe. We do know that there's early educational programs that take place at the synagogue. We don't know what was happening at the time. It's unclear because there was allegedly preschool programs that were scheduled and commonly held there, but we still don't know if those were underway at the time of the attack. But if you look at the shot right now, we just have reporters at the scene. There are still a ton of officials that are there. And again, the updates are coming by the minute. We've talked to a few different people. We've talked to sheriff's office and different people. And here's everything we know so far that they've said in the past couple minutes. Again, this is an ongoing investigation. So we don't know a ton, but we do have a lot more details than we've had. So the gunman was reportedly armed with a rifle and fatally shot by security, and this is according to the sources that are at the scene. The vehicle caught on fire after crashing into the synagogue, and we heard from officials that said that the suspect ran the vehicle through doors into the synagogue, drove down a hall, and was met by security, which then they engaged gunfire with each other. We do know that the suspect is dead inside the car. So it is unclear whether they exited the car and came back in, but we do know that at the time of the suspect dying, they were in the car. Again, the official said during it he doesn't know whether the suspect could have shot himself or what happened, so it's not officially confirmed how the suspect died yet, but we do know that they died from a gunshot wound after engaging with security in gunfire with security. So we have received word that while there's still an ongoing situation at the temple, other Jewish organizations that were on lockdown before are no longer having to be on lockdown. And we saw this in the Detroit area, and then we saw this across the country where cities and even states put Jewish worship centers on lockdown because they were unsure if this was connected to anything else or if there was an ongoing threat to Jewish organizations. There will still be continued police and security presence, though, through this community specifically and other communities, I'm sure, across the country. So counterterrorism operative Eric O'Neill told Fox 2, our affiliate, that this should be treated as an act of terrorism, citing the rise in violent extremists in the recent years. So he said, quote, "I don't believe in coincidences. If you look at what's happening in the world, we know from different reports from the FBI and other intel agencies that Iranian extremists are active in the U.S." So he was pretty bold about the statement. He said that he focuses on counterterrorism, and he did say that this is not a coincidence. He does believe that this was an extremist act. So this actually is the second attack on a house of worship in the recent months, with a mass shooting taking place at the Church of Jesus Latter-day Saints. That was in September, and we did report that on this feed as well. We did have almost the exact same live shot happening where there was an active shooter situation. Luckily, in this one, there were no injuries reported. And let's see, we are getting a ton more information right now. Earlier, we did see that FBI Director Kash Patel issued a statement. He said that FBI personnel are on the scene with partners in Michigan and responding to the apparent vehicle ramming an active shooter situation out of Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan. So he did say that he has been posting to X and has been talking about the situation on social media, as he, I'm sure, has been getting new information as well. So our shot's a little wonky right now. I know that we have had photographers at our affiliate station out there all day reporting on this, or at least the past couple hours as we have worked to do all this. So if you're new here, here is what we know about the armed man that rammed a vehicle into a Michigan synagogue. The suspect was then fatally shot by security. This all is confirmed by AP sources. We did hear about this in a live press conference that was just aired a few minutes ago. If you want to go on our YouTube and scroll back, and we will be posting on social media as well about all of the key things that you need to know. But here's what we know so far. So a man armed with a rifle rammed his vehicle into a major synagogue in a Detroit suburb and was fatally shot by security. This happened Thursday, and it was late morning, early afternoon, So the vehicle then caught fire after crashing into the temple, and according to officials at the scene, I listened in on a press conference a few minutes ago of them talking about how the suspect rammed through doors, went straight and drove down a hallway, and then was met by security where they engaged in gunfire, and the suspect did die from a gunshot wound and died inside the vehicle. We don't know whether the suspect exited the vehicle or not, but we do know that they died inside the vehicle. We have a reporter here on the scene real quick. Let's see if, she's probably doing a live shot in a couple minutes because this is now a national story. This is going everywhere, and I'm going to go change the shot real quick as we learn more. Okay, so here's everything we know. We know the vehicle caught fire after crashing into the Temple Israel synagogue. This is in West Bloomfield Township in Michigan, in the Detroit area. Investigators are still working to identify the man's identity. So we don't know the man's identity. We don't know his possible motive for the attack. And people on scene will not yet publicly discuss details surrounding the investigation to that extent or why. But we do know that the investigation is in early stages. I mean, so much we have just learned in the past hour of me sitting here talking about this. So there's a lot going on. We do know that the investigation is still very active. If you look at the shot right there, there are a ton of officials that are still on scene. And earlier, we could see smoke billowing from the roof in the initial stages when we saw the helicopter just go over initially right when it happened. We saw that there was smoke billowing from the roof, and we do know that that now was the vehicle that caught fire eventually. So it's unclear how the fire started or what happened, but we do know that some part of the situation, the vehicle did make something catch on fire, and we do know that the suspect remains in the vehicle as they are doing their investigation. So we do know dozens of people were reporting. We do know a ton of officials were there. And we do know that no kids or staff were injured whatsoever. So the Oakland County Sheriff's Office came out and said that there was actually one security officer that was hit by the vehicle but didn't suffer any life-threatening injuries. And we do know that he said someone was unconscious. So he said that during the press conference. I'm not sure if that means that's the security guard they're talking about that had non-life-threatening injuries. We know they were injured, but nothing too serious. And at least one individual came to the temple. Security saw him and engaged in the gunfire. Point blank, that's what they said. They did say this in the news conference that was aired a few minutes ago. If you need to go look back on it and want to watch the live feed, that was aired a couple minutes ago. It's on our YouTube page. We've been live for a couple hours, and we do know that the synagogues across the world have been ramping up security since U.S. and Israel launched the war with Iran with the missile strikes that started on February 28th. And now the FBI has warned that operatives may be planning attacks on California. We heard that this morning, and there was a lot in the news about this. So I know a few synagogues earlier, at least the ones that were in the area, the Detroit area near where this happened, all shut down. But it is unclear whether people are still having high security, high alert. So I looked on the website of Temple Israel earlier, and there were a bunch of events that were scheduled. And now this is open to the public. I was able to look it up. So I'm not completely sure if anyone else looked it up. I don't know. But we do know that there was a Movement of the Mind event, and that was scheduled for 1:30. We do know there was a fresh food pantry that was scheduled at 2:45. And there was adult health and fitness classes. So this synagogue, again, has 12,000 people that attend it. So they have all sorts of events. They have educational things that happen there, classes for children and adults. We know there was a preschool, and we're still unsure whether the preschool was the ones that were directly affected, because we did watch in our live streams a bunch of kids be taken out of the building, and we do know that police were able to let parents go inside and get their kids once they knew it was completely safe. There was a Aging is Inevitable Diagnosing Alzheimer's Disease event today, Core Studio resin tray making. There are all sorts of events at this place. Let's see. Those were the main ones that were scheduled during the time of all this happening. But we are getting some more information from people at the scene right now. Let's look if there are any updates. Okay, again, if you were just now watching, we've been following an active shooter situation, and this has been going on for the past hour. There was an active shooter. The suspect was killed by police or by security at the place, and we do know that this was at the temple, Israel Temple. And we are following all the breaking news right now, and we will have continuing coverage. I'm going to get this shot back up of live look at the scene, and we will be back.
I have Jeremy Adams standing next to me wanting to claim my backpack, even though it's down to 20%, so it's going to be charged. So you want me to give it to Jeremy, or you want to go? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if they're still using my shot of the screen or not. Charlie called me and said he was calling you guys and he was bailing. That was like over an hour. I don't know if that's what happened or not, but yeah, because he was trying to get to me and he never could get to me because he was on the other side from me. So he said he was going to check in with you because I got here and Camille was here. Everybody else, Todd's here, Jeremy's here, I'm here. We're all in the same corner. Okay, so are they still using me for the stream or no? I guess if I had a plug, I'll find out real quick, right? Okay, sounds good. Yep. Get my backpack. Just checking the numbers. I didn't see if we still use my shot. Oh, yeah, at the...
And they got, some of them want, like, there's got some people that live.
This is the stage.
I know him. I know him personally. So.
LTN1.
Okay, LTN1.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, and he's got, and then you need an IFB for them. Yep.
I'm asking for it now.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we'll get it done. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I'll tell them. Well, yeah, it's all, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. We're still local. Okay, cool. They give it to us. I got it. Oh shit! They want to hit me now.
Who does? Fox 2?
Yeah. Let's dial back into Fox 2 first.
Ah, shit. Okay, cool.
Yeah, now they tell us. You know?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Damn it. Stand by. Go through. There we go.
So we can't show kids, like,
Okay, Dave, here I go.
Okay.